Hey all, Mark Slane with the United States Krav Maga Association. Today talking about what you should look for when you're judging a self-defense video, or what I look for when I judge a self-defense video. And with the internet, especially Facebook, there's tons of them. I probably see 3 or 4 a day. Generally, they're in 4 categories as far as I'm concerned. Category 1 is they do it just like we do it. Hey, cool, I like it. Number 2, I'll see a video where they do it different than we do it, but I agree with what they're doing. It makes sense. I've got no problems with it. As a matter of fact, I generally take those and work those with some of our higher level instructors and see if we like them better. You know, if it's easier, it's more effective. It doesn't take you know, any upper body strength or anything. We'll change to that in a heartbeat. We're not beholden to any grand poobah. Doesn't make us sad if we have to drop something. Makes us happy. We're making people safer if we come up with a better, easier self-defense move. The third one is, yeah, I kind of see some merit. I see why they're doing it, but man, it's either it's too complicated, it's got too many moves, relies too much on athletic ability, or relies too much on how big and strong the person is. You know, that's kind of the third. I see, yeah, I mean, it's okay, but man, I can certainly tell you why the one we do is better. And of course, the fourth category is WTF. There are things I see out there that just scare me to death. It's like, wow, wow. One thing to always keep in mind, and on our site, we don't put a lot of techniques on there, but we do put a lot of class doing techniques, doing drills and the like. One thing that irks me to death is if I have students doing a technique and someone, well, they're not moving their head, they're not doing this, they're not doing that. My usual reply is, hey, they just learned the stuff. Of course they're not perfect yet. Chill. So it's a little bit different if it's a student that just learned it doing it, you know, on video, and a expert telling you, hey, this is our technique, this is how you should do it. I tend to critique that latter one much more so. Basically, when you see a self-defense video, kind of 4 questions in my head for it. First one is, what are they defending? You know, there's a group out there. They put the most bizarre attacks. They'll have 4 people grabbing you, 2 of them have a knife, 1 of them has a gun, one of you're being covered by the 4th one with an AR. You know, I always scratch my head. It's like, man, where do you live and who did you piss off? What kind of an attack is that? Could it happen? I suppose it could happen, but man, how about showing us a handgun pointed at our face defense? You know, if someone puts a gun on us, 90% of the time it's pointed at our face. Let's learn that. Let's learn, you know, common attacks. Why do I need to put it on something that, you know, a Navy SEAL would be hard-pressed to find themselves in? You know, a lot of, you know, I see stick on stick, the Filipino flow drills. Totally cool. I love it. That's some good skill, but man, I've got a lot of videos that we've watched of a lot of attacks from, you know, closed circuit TVs and what have you. I've never seen somebody with a stick fighting somebody else with a stick. I'm sure they're out there. Matter of fact, I do think I've seen 1 or 2, but they happened in the Philippines. So to me, I don't need that defense so much. How about showing me what to do if someone's got a pull cue coming after me, empty-handed? You know, I like to figure, what are they defending? That's my first question. The second one is, who's defending? Brandon Hicks just did a video for us on, are you a 6'2", 250-pound operator? You know, I see these self-defense videos, and the person, the instructor doing the video is a stud, chiseled, strong, humongous. Anything they do would work. You know, I don't want them to tell me this is what I should do. I'm not a 6'2", 250-pound stud. You know, it's a head scratcher to me when you know, Tai Chi is going to work for these guys. Anything's going to work for these guys. They're picking people up and throwing them over their shoulder. What would more interest me is if that same person were the attacker and the person showing the defense was a 5', 98-pound woman. You know, I'm not so interested in what he's doing to defend himself if he's that big and strong and athletic. I want to see how I would defend against someone that big and strong and athletic. So who's defending is the next question. And the third one, and this is a pet peeve of mine, is it one and done? Way too many, especially self-defense for women. Whatever they'll do to get out of the choke, and then they'll stand there. I guess if you're making the video, you just want to show the technique, okay, but my goodness, it's like the attacker's going to be so in awe. After you get out, they're just going to stand there and watch you. You know, it's like an end all. Hey, I broke your grip on that choke. We're done. Oh, heck no. You need to go batshit crazy, go forward, destroy, and then run. Absolutely. You know, and the and then run, we absolutely teach, but I think statistically, I've read several places that the average violent offender is a 17 to 24-year-old male. Can you outrun a 17 to 24-year-old male? I can't. So to me, we have to do massive damage to make sure they can't chase us as we run, when we run, because we're going to run. Again, we're not teaching magic tricks. Boom, 2 moves and we're done. We can stand there and stare at them. No. Whenever we're doing this in class, whenever we're demoing it, it's as soon as we have done that technique, we then start kicking the groin, breaking the knee, kneeing the throat, beating them until we can run. The technique's not over, even on a video as far as I'm concerned, until you've done all those things. That technique's not magic. You got out of a choke. Okay, now he punches you upside the head. We have to do something next. So is it one and done? And then the fourth and the last question I ask, is it a realistic attack? This is, again, one of the things that drive me crazy on these videos, and especially the self-defense for women that I've seen so many times. They show a technique that, yeah, the guy's barely holding on. If it's a choke, a bear hug, whatever, he lets go. He goes with it. I realize there has to be some role playing because you're not really damaging your partner, but come on, I need a realistic attack. Carotid choke, where they put you in a carotid and just stand there with you. That's not how I'm putting somebody in a carotid choke. I'm going to kick their leg out, drag them backwards, not give them a chance to defend. They're going to be laid out before they even know I'm there. Bear hug, when you just stand there and hug them, I'm gotta guess if a scumbag's put you in a bear hug, it's to pick you up and throw you to the ground or to drag you somewhere. Weapons defenses, where they stab with a knife and then just leave their arm out there. That drives me crazy. The handgun defense, where they just stand there with a smile and the gun doesn't move. We need to put these under realistic attacks. A knife that's like a sewing machine needle, hockey punch, fighting you off with their empty hand as they're sticking over and under. Handgun defense, it's only useful if the handgun's moving around, they're pushing you, they're punching you, they're harming you, they're trying to push you into a room or whatever. We can't have the first time that that's ever happened be when it's happening for real. We have had to have practiced that. If we've only practiced with a handgun stationary pointed at us, nobody trying to push us or kick us or anything else, you know, shame on us. That's not how we should be learning these things. These techniques, again, aren't magic. The give it or is it earned, especially the women's self-defense. Anytime I see something being done by, you know, one of my instructors that say, hey, let's try this, the next step is, hey, I'm going to clinch on really good, whether I'm grabbing a wrist, grabbing a choke, bear hug, I'm going to clinch you really hard and see if you can get out of it. And then when they can, it's like, oh goodness, you know, some instructors I know have been teaching something for years and years and years and never had a student actually try not to get out of it. I mean, when you clamp down, when you outweigh her by 100 pounds, you're much stronger upper body, most of this stuff isn't going to work. You know, whatever they're doing to get out of a choke, whatever they're doing to get out of a carotid choke, whatever they're doing to get out of bear hugs, they've got to put some reps into somebody really clamping down on them. I remember a story, Marnie Levine, one of the most absolute phenomenal instructors I've ever had the pleasure of training under, and awesome at Krav. She had a guy in class, and he was huge. I mean, really 6'6", 300 pounds, and it was muscle. He was, I forget his name, but man, he was like a legend there. He was just a huge dude. He had the biggest hands I've ever seen. And she said one time she called him up to demo a front choke in front of level 1, and he didn't realize he was kind of supposed to give. He clamped on her, and she said, didn't budge those hands. It's just a difference in strength. She was extremely strong and did the technique perfectly, but that difference in strength made all the difference in the world as far as it didn't budge. She did not remove the danger. I believe she said she went ahead and kicked him in the groin. He let go then. And she explained to him, if you don't go with this, I'm going to have to hurt you. But, you know, it's a big difference in physical strength between a 5 foot, 98 pound woman and a 6 foot, 200 pound guy. Much more strong as far as you're not getting off with these simple moves we're doing, with these pressure points or twisting this way or stepping in. And we have to practice this way. We absolutely have to practice this way. So when I'm looking at a video from you know, a technique video, it's always, what are they defending? Who's defending? Is it one and done? And is it a realistic attack? Before you teach anything, before you make any switches, absolutely it has to be put under a realistic attack. Has to be put under chaos, stress, exhaustion. Has to be put under someone not giving it to us. Like as soon as you touch their hands, they let go. Oh, that was a great choke defense. We absolutely have to put these under what we're actually going to see. You know, if we're teaching people that something's going to work and it's never been put under a real attack, it's always as soon as they touch my hands, I let go, we can get them hurt. And, you know, I tell my instructors this all the time. If somebody's coming to you for self-defense, they are quite literally putting their lives in your hands. You better teach the most battle-tested, up-to-date, scientific stuff you can come up with. Mark Slane, United States Krav Maga Association.